Court is in session in cause numbers 327-244 and cause number 327-530. Both cases are styled of the state of Texas versus Ronald Joseph Cormier or Ronald Joseph Cormier Jr. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cormier, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Cormier, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Cormier, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Cormier?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Cormier, in cause number 327-244, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Ryan Gertz. Mr. Gertz, how are you doing?
Great, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Cormier, in cause number 327-244, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about March 1st of 2020, while you were operating a motor vehicle in a public place in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Mr. Cormier, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
And to this charge, Mr. Cormier, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Mr. Cormier, I have before me a document Mr. Cormier, I have a document before me that is titled the misdemeanor plea admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. This document is also titled as or labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials, like RJC, on a line next to a box that's titled guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, I did.
On page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
On the next document, Mr. Cormier, this document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature of the line that's
Yes,
titled
it is.
defendant? There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do we have a discovery certification?
We do, Judge.
Mr. Cormier, I have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, it is.
Now, Mr. Cormier, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, it did, Your Honor.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Gertz, you advising counsel. Mr. Cormier, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Judge.
Mr. Cormier, your attorney, Mr. Gertz, has advised and counsel you. You're satisfied with his representation?
Yes.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cormier, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
It's a 90 days jail, probated over 1 year. It's an $800 fine plus court costs, 40 hours community service, a DWI education program, a drug and alcohol assessment, and admission interlock device. And also cause number 327-530 will be dismissed in consideration for a plea in this case, as well as forfeiture of the way.
Okay, Mr. That's the,
This is before.
Okay.
Judge.
Mr. Cormier, I have before me the judgment. Mr. Cormier, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $800 plus court costs. And what was the community?
40 hours.
40, okay.
40 hours, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, let me repeat that. Now, Mr. Cormier, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $800 plus court costs of $422, which comes to a total of fine and court costs of $1,222. You will be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You pay Jefferson County DWI education class and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you'd have to pay each month while you're on probation, is $190. Mr. Cormier, will you be able to pay the $190 each month?
Yes, sir.
You'll also be required to perform 40 hours of community service, attend and complete a DWI class, have a drug and alcohol assessment, install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own and operate, and the state will be dismissing cause number 327530. And okay, you're not putting language in the judgment about that dismissal, that they're forfeiture of the weapon?
No, Your Honor, no.
All right. And now, you will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Cormier, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Mr. Cormier, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Cormier, your next case is cause number 327530. That case is filed with State of Texas versus Ronald Joseph Cormier or Ronald Joseph Cormier Jr. Mr. Cormier, I have before me a motion to forfeit the weapon. In that case, Mr. Cormier, do you recognize this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is this your signature above the line that's tied as
Yes, it
defendant?
is.
Now, Mr. Cormier, prior to signing and initially, prior to signing this document, did your attorney go over this document with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you read and understand everything in this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Mr. Cormier, I will grant the state's motion to forfeit this weapon in cause number 327530. And state, you have a motion.
Yes, Your Honor, the state would move to dismiss that cause number in consideration for the forfeiture of the weapon.
Okay, that motion will be granted. Here you go. And Mr. Cormier, you can stand on the X next to your attorney, follow the directions of our court clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. And I'm signing the dismissal right now, so you get a copy of the dismissal before you leave as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Can I go ahead and get your right thumbprint on that blue line located in front of you? Thank you. You can remove your thumb. Okay, now, Mr. Cormier, can I get your signature on the pad located in front of you? You won't be able to see it, but I will. And Mr. Kurtz, can I get your signature as well?
Yep. Thank you.
here, raise your right hand for me. Do you swear that you've never before been given probation or deferred adjudication for a felony or misdemeanor in this or any other state? Okay, you have no other pending charges that you're aware of.
Mr. Oh, he's right
Okay, so
there.
you're just gonna report to this address, as soon as you leave, and here's a copy of your dismissal. Actually, the probation,
Go at 1:30.
yeah, the probation office is probably moving to lunch right now.
Take that paperwork with you and all that.
Okay, you have a blessed day, Mr. Cormier. You have a blessed day as well, Mr. Gervis.
Thanks, Judge.
What case is it on?
Craig Lau is on trial.
Glau? Mr. Bailiff, would you please get Mr. Craig Glau? Oh, yeah, two Glaus. Yeah, Canadian Glau. We're in session and calls number 325-368, calls number 325-370. Both cases are style of State of Texas versus Craig Allen Glau. Mr. Glau, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Glau?
All right.
That's good. Mr. Glau, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Marvin Lewis Jr. Mr. Lewis, how you doing?
Doing all right, Judge, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Lewis, what is your case is on the trial docket.
Yes, sir.
And because of the COVID protocols, we don't have, all jurors have been canceled for the month of January. What is your announcement in Mr. Glau's case?
Well, Judge, as of right now, it is still a trial, although I have been in contact with Mr. David.
Okay, so we'll give you a reset date on the trial docket,
All right.
March 14th.
March 14th.
That's good.
Okay, case is reset March 14th, 2022. You can get your reset from our court coordinator, Mr. Lewis. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day. And Mr. Blount, you can get your reset from your attorney. Once you get your reset, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
You too.
All right.
Give it just a moment. You will sign on the box.
Next case is Ethan James Smith.
I'm sorry, Judge.
Okay. This is cause number 329262. Case is style of State of Texas versus Ethan James Smith. We have Mr. Smith who's appearing in court. Mr. Smith, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Smith, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Smith, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Smith, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Smith?
Okay.
You okay? That's good. Mr. Smith, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Nathan Reynolds, who is appearing via Zoom. Mr. Reynolds, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Judge.
That's good. Mr. Smith, in cause number 329262, you're charged with the Class A misdemeanor offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon. And state, do we have a motion in that case?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would move to dismiss the case in consideration for the forfeiture of the weapon.
Okay. Mr. Smith, I have before me a document that is titled Motion to Forfeit. Mr. Smith, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? You have to speak up. She's taking a record. Now, before you signed this document, did your attorney Mr. Reynolds go over this document with you?
Yes,
And did you understand everything in this document?
yes.
And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Okay. Mr. Smith, I'll grant the state's motion to forfeit. And the state has submitted a dismissal that I'll be signing. Mr. Smith, you can stand on the 4X over there. You're gonna get a copy of your dismissal. Once you get a copy of your dismissal, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. Okay, Mr. Smith, I just signed the dismissal. It should be printing off in a few seconds. There it is. It's printing off now. Once you get your copy, you're free to go, and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Reynolds, this will conclude your case. You're free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
All right, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
So, I left my.
Okay, this is cause number 319908. Case of South State of Texas versus Jennifer Aaron McLean. The case is set on the trial docket. Ms. McLean, would you come forward? She is pro se, so she's representing herself. She does have a standby attorney by the name of Attorney Bruce Cobb. Now, Ms. McLean, because of the COVID protocol, all jury trials in this court was canceled. Okay, and so your case is going to have because of COVID, and so we're going to have to reset your case. Okay, so you can get your reset from our coordinator. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Okay, court back in session. County Court at Law number 2, Jefferson County, Texas, Judge Terrence Holmes presiding. We've just concluded our pretrial conference docket and the trial docket and the announcement docket. All dockets were scheduled at 9 a.m. This morning on today's date of January 31st of 2022. Now we'll do our bond forfeitures. First case is cause number 323-375. Case is filed with State of Texas versus Derek Michael Hardesty. Derek Michael Hardesty was scheduled to be in court this morning for the court's announcement docket at 9 a.m. on today's date of January 31st of 2022. At or about 9 a.m., the court's bailiff called the name of Derek Hardesty at the courthouse door. Derek Hardesty did not answer. Derek Hardesty has not appeared in court since the court's been in session. However, his attorney, Mr. Langston Adams, did appear. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Derek Hardesty?
Derek Hardesty. No response.
Derek Hardesty's name was just called again by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Derek Hardesty did not answer. The time now is 12:40 p.m. on today's date. State, do you have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would move for a bond forfeiture.
That motion will be granted. Derek Hardesty's bond will be forfeited and a warrant be issued for his arrest in cause number 323-375. Next case is cause number 324-902. Case is filed with State of Texas versus Eric Estrada. Eric Estrada was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. At about 9 a.m., the court's bailiff called his name at the courthouse door. Eric Estrada did not answer. Eric Estrada has not appeared in court since the court's been in session. The time now is 12:41 p.m. on today's date. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Eric Estrada?
Derek Estrada. No response.
Eric Estrada's name was just called again by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Eric Estrada did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Eric Estrada an opportunity to appear in court. He has not appeared in court. State, do you have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would move for a bond forfeiture.
That motion will be granted and a warrant shall be issued for the arrest of Eric Estrada in cause number 324-902. Next case is cause number 327-008. Case is style of State of Texas versus Leonard M. Head. Leonard Head was scheduled to be in court this morning for the court's announcement docket at or about 9 a.m. Leonard Head's name was called at the courthouse door by the court's bailiff. Leonard Head did not answer. Leonard Head has not appeared in court since the court's been in session since 9 a.m. The time now is 12:42 p.m. on today's date. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Leonard Head?
Leonard. No response.
Leonard Head's name was just called again by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Leonard Head did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Head an opportunity to appear in court. He has not appeared in court. State, do you have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would move for a bond forfeiture.
That motion will be granted. Next case is, well, that motion will be granted and a warrant shall be issued for the rest. And a bond will be forfeited in cause number 327-008. Next case is cause number 328-612. Case is filed in the State of Texas versus Robert C. Murphy. Robert Murphy was scheduled to be in court this morning for the court's announcement docket at 9 a.m. Robert Murphy's name was called at or about 9 a.m. by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Robert Murphy did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Murphy an opportunity to appear in court. Mr. Mercer, they have not appeared in court since the court has been in session. The time now is 12:44 PM on today's date. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Robert Murphy at the courthouse door?
Robert Murphy. No response.
Robert Murphy's name was just called by the bailiff at the courthouse door. Robert Murphy did not answer. Robert Murphy has not appeared in court. Reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Murphy an opportunity to appear in court. He has not appeared in court. State, do we have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, state would move for a bond forfeiture.
That motion will be granted. And a warrant shall be issued for the arrest in clause number 328612. Next two cases are clause number 328626 and clause number 328628. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus DeAndre Lee Edwards. DeAndre Edwards was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 AM for the court's announcement docket on today's date, January 31st of 2022. At about 9 AM, the court's bailiff called the name of DeAndre Edwards at the courthouse door. DeAndre Edwards did not answer. DeAndre Edwards has not appeared in court since the court's been in session. The time now is 12:45 PM. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of DeAndre Edwards?
DeAndre Edwards. No response.
DeAndre Edwards' name was just called again by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. DeAndre Edwards did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give DeAndre Edwards an opportunity to appear in court. He has not appeared in court. State, do we have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, state would move for a bond forfeiture.
That motion will be granted. And a warrant shall be issued for the arrest of DeAndre Edwards in cause numbers 328626 and cause number 328628. And this will conclude the calling of the court's announcement docket, the court's pretrial conference docket, plea docket, and the court's trial docket. All three dockets were scheduled for today's date of January 31st of 2022 at 9 AM in County Court at Law Number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas. Judge Terrence L. Holmes